Assalamu alaikum, parents and students. Welcome to another week of distance learning. Please make sure when you log into Microsoft Teams that you go to the right channel. So today we're doing math. Then we will go to files and select week 12. Once you open up your week 12 files, you should find attached the online learning lesson plan, the PowerPoint, as well as the worksheet. Once you open up the lesson plan, please make sure you look over the lesson overview, the success criteria, the assignments, as well as the resources. So let's begin with this week's presentation. Now this week is an extension of our STEAM week, and for math today we are going to be reviewing area and perimeter so that we can measure the houses that we built. Alright, so our learning intention is that the students will be able to estimate and measure perimeter and area of their houses using inch and centimeter rulers. Here is our success criteria. Number 1, I can find the perimeter in a 2D shape using inches or centimeters. And number 2, I can find the area in a 2D shape using squares. So we're finding perimeters and areas. Here's the vocabulary, perimeter and area. You should already know these words. Alright, we're going to remember when should I use area and when should I use perimeter. Well, perimeter is the distance around the outside of a shape. For example, when I want to put a fence around my garden, or if I want to glue a ribbon around my picture, I will measure the perimeter. I will measure the outside. Area is the space inside a shape. So for example, if I want to paint a wall or buy a rug for a room, I will measure the inside of the shape, not the outside, the inside. The inside. Alright, so area is how much unit squares does the shape take. Perimeter is what are the outside measurements of my shape. So what is perimeter? The perimeter is found by adding up all the length and width measurements. Alright, so this is length and this is breadth or width or height. Alright, so we're adding all the sides. We're adding this side and this side and this side and this side all together to find the perimeter. Alright, here's the difference between inches and centimeters. We're going to be using two different measurements to measure our STEAM project. Alright, make sure when you're looking at your ruler that you're looking at if I'm using inches or I'm using centimeters. We can see that 1 inch is about 2.5 centimeters. Alright, so 1 inch is about 2.5 centimeters. Okay, as we're going to use both measurements. So if I wanted to find the perimeter of this shape, I would first need to know all the sides. If this side is 7 centimeters, means this side is 7 centimeters. If this side is 2 centimeters, means this side is 2 centimeters. So 7 plus 7 plus 2 plus 2 makes 18. Alright, so 2 plus 7 plus 2 plus 7 makes 18 centimeters. Make sure you don't forget to put the measurement at the end. So for example, let's think and find the perimeter of a window in our house. After I measure my house, I realize the top of the window is 4 centimeters, so the bottom is also 4 centimeters, and my two sides are 6 centimeters each. Alright, if I add that all up, 4 plus 6 plus 4 plus 6, it all equals 20 centimeters. And that's the perimeter, that's the outside measurement of my window. If I want to find the perimeter of a door, same thing. I measure the top, then I measure the bottom, then I measure this side, then this side. Remember, I need to measure all the sides, and if I add up my 6 plus 6 plus 12 plus 12, it gives me 36 centimeters. I have to add up all the sides to get perimeter. Alright, and let's remember, what is area? Area is the number of unit squares needed to cover a flat surface. Alright, it's how many unit squares do I have to cover my flat surface. Remember, when we're finding area, we need to do two things. Number one, I count the number of unit squares inside the shape, and I check them off as I count them so that I don't forget. Just like this lady over here, she is counting the squares and she's giving them a little check so that she doesn't forget what number she's at, or if she doesn't forget which one she has already counted. So what you're going to want to do is to draw your house's window and try to measure the area of the window. So you're going to draw it and then you're going to split it up using squares. So this window over here covered a bunch of squares, and if I count them up, then they will reach 28 unit squares, and that's the area. Alright, I want to know how much my window covers, and my window covers up 28 unit squares. Alright, so you're going to use this kind of chart paper to draw your house. Alright, you're going to draw your house and find the area of your house. You can have a paper like this, you can print it out, and you can put it underneath your house and maybe even trace around. Alright, and then you're going to find out the area of your house. As we reach the end of the lesson, please make sure to watch the online links if you need some extra tips. And there's also a game to design your house. Please make sure that you also give your teacher some feedback at the end of the lesson. You can use the learning pit. You can also use different smiley faces to let your teacher know if you understood, if there's anything you're unsure of, or if you're confused. And you can also tell me 3 things you learned, 2 things you found interesting, and 1 question you still have. There's a bunch of different ways for us to give feedback. As always, thank you for joining me.